Hi, guys, and welcome to today's episode of the podcast. Today, I have something for you guys that I believe you guys are going to enjoy so much because this is probably one of the main struggles that I hear you guys are having right now, which is motivation. As we know, motivation is one of those things that comes and goes. It's always up and down, up and down, up and down. Like it's never consistently there 24/7. It's not there every single day of the year. There are times that we feel like doing things, other times we like that motivation. So today I'm going to be talking exactly about that, the motivation blueprint, and I'm going to help you to master your drive and master that motivation. So how can we stay motivated in this journey, in our fitness journey? When I started with my journey, I used to struggle with motivation so much, so much. I didn't have self-discipline. I was lacking motivation. I was relying on outside sources to keep me motivated. And I didn't have a good reason why I wanted to be on this journey. I really, it just wasn't working for me. And I used to struggle with this for years and years and years. First, let's get started talking about what is motivation. And then I'm going to share my tips with you guys to help you stay motivated. The first thing to understand is that there are two different types of motivation. Sorry if you can hear the helicopter outside. I just had to open the window, otherwise it's going to be so much echo. But anyway, there's two types of motivation. So we have internal motivation, and then we have the external motivation or the external drive. So internal motivation is the one that comes within, and this is the one that you have, or you do things because you're truly passionate about that. You truly find enjoyment doing that thing. Let's say learning a new language, going to the gym, prepping your meals, being in this fitness journey. It's something that is very rewarding for you, and that's why you do it. It's something that is long lasting, that you just have the motivation. That motivation lives there internally because this is who you are, and those are the things that you want to do. On the other hand, we have external motivation, and that comes from external sources. For example, let's say you want to lose weight and you start with your fitness journey because you have your wedding coming up in 3 months and you just want to lose weight for that wedding. Maybe you have an exam in 2 weeks' time, so you study for that exam. You have to study for that exam so you can get an A plus and finish uni. Maybe you are working over hours at work because you want that money, so that's your motivation. Money is your motivation, and you are working hard those extra hours so you can get that reward. So the external motivation often comes with that reward, which is why it's often very short term and it's nothing long lasting. But why is having this motivation, whether it's internal or external, important in our journey? And remember what I tell you guys about, something I tell you guys all the time, is that whatever we learn in this fitness journey are things that we can apply in our life in general, because I'm a huge believer, and this is something I always say all the time. I feel like a broken record by now, but how we do one thing is how we do everything. And if you get this right, trust me, you can take this with you and apply it to everything that you do. So this is important because number one, initial actions. This is going to help you to take that action or actions and help you ensure that you're taking the right steps and you're moving forward to help you achieve that goal that you have. Number two is going to help you to sustain the efforts, because if we're not staying motivated along the journey, it's going to be much easier to stop. It's going to be much easier to give up. And as we know, if we give up, we're simply never going to reach that end goal. We're never going to get there. We're never going to achieve the thing that we want. This is also important because it's going to increase the enjoyment. If you're doing something that you're not really enjoying, it's going to be much easier to stop doing that thing because you don't feel happy. Maybe you feel like you have to do that thing instead of me wanting to do that thing. Like, we know that's a huge difference, wanting and having to do something. And also it's important because it just enhances your overall well-being. It just makes this journey much, much easier. It makes it more fun. Of course, it's not that easy all the time. There's always challenges, always setbacks, but it just becomes easier with time. And that's exactly what I told you on the last podcast about how to stay on track on the weekends. Okay, so that's the main reason, that's the main difference between internal and external motivation, and also why having motivation is important in our fitness journey. The second thing to understand is why this motivation doesn't last. Why do we often find ourselves feeling amazing and great for a few weeks, days, or maybe just hours. And then next thing you don't know, you're lacking motivation. You don't want to wake up to go to the gym. You're getting sick and tired of prepping your meals. You're not really enjoying the journey. You don't really feel like you're staying on track. You don't really feel like committing to your journey. You don't really feel like doing the things that you should be doing. But why is this happening? A few reasons why. I think there are way more factors, way more reasons than what I'm about to tell you, but this is just what I've seen from myself, my personal experience, and also working with different women around the world. So number one, it's the lack of intrinsic motivation. And this is probably one of the main reasons why this motivation doesn't last. Let's say you just got started with your fitness journey and you only have extrinsic motivation. So you're only doing this because of your wedding coming up in 3 months. Because you only have that, it's going to be much easier for you to not have that motivation after your wedding. Because you're going to tell yourself, wedding done and dusted, I lost that weight, I achieved my goal. Now I can go back to old habits, and you're going to lose that motivation because you're lacking that intrinsic motivation. You don't have that strong enjoyment, or you're not enjoying that thing. It's not coming something within you. Second reason why this motivation doesn't last is because you probably have unrealistic expectation. And I think this is something that happens to all of us. I used to have very unrealistic expectations when I started with my fitness journey. I wanted to have this physique, in my mind. I was like big and massive with like really nice and round shoulders, huge quads, huge glutes, hamstrings, like every single muscle very well developed. But that was very unrealistic because it's not realistic for me to achieve something like that unless I do steroids, maybe yes, but that's not the route that I want to take. And when we have unrealistic expectations and we're not meeting those goals, we're not achieving those goals, it's much easier to not feel motivated because you're going to tell yourself, what the hell? What's the point? I'm trying. This is not working. I'm not seeing the changes that I want to see. So that motivation, you're going to put it on hold, or that motivation, it's going to fly away, and it's going to be much easier not to feel motivated. Reason number 3 why this motivation doesn't last, it's because maybe monotony, and maybe you're getting bored of the same routine all the time. For me personally, I am a very routine person. I do the same things pretty much every single day, same meals every single day. I change it up every now and then. For me, it's perfectly fine to do the same thing, but there are other people out there, maybe you're one of them, that you get very bored very easily. So you have to keep changing things all the time. And if you don't, you're going to lack that motivation. Reason number 4 why you're lacking, or why that motivation doesn't last, it's because maybe you feel burnt out. Maybe you have too much going on, or maybe you went from 0 to 100 like really, really quick, and you're just feeling exhausted, you're feeling tired, you feeling overwhelmed, there's too much going on. And what happens when you reach that point, it's going to be much easier for that motivation again to go away, and then you want to have that motivation to keep you going. Reason number 5, external influences. And I think this is one that happens to all of us. Whether it's your friends, your partner, maybe they are not in their fitness journey, maybe their goals are completely different, maybe they don't even have goals. So it's much easier to, become like the people that we surround ourselves with. If your friends, or most of your friends, maybe people at work, they don't really have a fitness goal, they don't really care about their health too much, they're not really worried with how they look or how they feel about themselves and their body, then you're probably going to become like that because that's going to influence you. So you're going to lack that motivation. You're going to be like, whatever, I'll try again another time, or just stop trying because this is just not for me. Reason number 6 why this motivation doesn't last is because we lack clarity with our goals. We are not very clear with that goal or goals that we want to achieve. We kind of have a rough idea of what we want, but we're not being specific. And anytime we are not being specific, it's much easier for us to go around circles, things get messy, and then feel like we're not doing much, we're not achieving much, but we don't even know what we want. So it's one of those cycles that gets messy and it just doesn't stop. And last but not least, probably Another main reason, well, all of them are main reasons, but another reason why this motivation doesn't last is because of that negative self-talk that we have. Maybe you are making progress, even if it's tiny, but you're making progress. But because you are having that negative self-talk, you're telling yourself that you are not making progress. You're telling yourself that you're wasting time. You're telling yourself that what you're doing is wrong and that you need to stop. Or maybe you are telling yourself that your body's not changing, that you look ugly, you look horrible, or that you will never achieve that goals or those goals, that negative self-talk that we all have. And it's something that we cannot help, but it's something that we can control. But that's another reason why it's easier for the motivation not to be here, for that motivation to be up and down, up and down, up and down all the time, like literally all the time. Again, there's going to be periods where you feel extremely happy, extremely motivated. And then there's also going to be periods, it can be days, it can be weeks, it can even be months that you're lacking that motivation and you just don't know what the hell is going on. Now that we know that, the next step is to know, how can we change this? How can we stay motivated along the journey to ensure that we achieve those goals, to ensure that we can make that happen, to ensure that we can lose that weight, we can build that muscle mass, we can maybe start with that business that we really, really want to start, to ensure that we can not do the things that we want to do, because nothing is impossible. Remember that nothing is impossible. We can all achieve anything we set our mind to. We just need to have these things very, very clear. So here are my tips to help you stay motivated along the journey and to ensure that you have a really good balance between that intrinsic motivation and that extrinsic motivation. So 5 tips that I have for you. Number 1 is to set clear goals. I'm going to break it down a little bit. Number 2, know your why. Number 3 is to create a routine. Number 4, celebrate your wins. And number 5, something that I strongly believe in, is to visualize your success. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Let's start with setting clear goals. Let's just say that your goal is to lose 20 kgs in the next 4 weeks, so in the next month. Let's just pretend, okay, that's your goal. Is that clear? Yeah, I mean, that's a clear goal. You want to lose 20 kgs, but is that realistic? Is it realistic to lose 20 kgs in 1 month? Maybe not. Maybe it's possible. It can be possible, but is that going to be healthy? Is that going to be sustainable? Is that going to be enjoyable? 100% not. You're probably going to need to put your life on hold to be able to achieve that goal. And that's just not the way that, at least that's not the way that I want to live my life. And I'm sure that's not the way that you want to live your life. So I want you to define exactly what it is that you want. I want you to be very specific. I want you to be very clear, and I want you to break it down. If your main goal is to lose those 20 kgs, don't just say a month, because again, it's unrealistic. Give yourself a few months, even the whole year, to achieve that goal, and then break it down into the steps that you are going to take to help you achieve that. Number 1, ask for help. Number 2, join a gym. Number 3, get a structure with your meal plan and your training program. Set times to help you when you're having your schedule, what days you're going to be going to the gym, what days you're going to be racing, what days you're going to be prepping your meals, all those little things, all those little tiny steps that are going to help you achieve that goal. Once you break it down, it's going to be much easier to slowly achieve every single tiny one. And then with time, you're going to get closer and closer and closer to the end goal, which is losing those 20 kgs. The easier you make it for yourself, the easier this journey is going to be. Don't keep making that mistake of having very unrealistic goals or setting very unrealistic expectations for yourself. I've done it myself for too long. I'm sure you've done it yourself. So let's stop with that, okay? We're going to be realistic. It's 2024, only 3 months left. Is it 3 months? I think 4 months left. Sorry, 4 months left of this year. Let's make sure we get this right now before 2024 ends. Okay, so the second one is to know your why. Other than the superficial reasons of, wanting to look great, losing those 20 kgs, why do you want to achieve this goal? Like, really ask yourself this question, like, why do I want to achieve this goal? Why do I want to lose this 20 kgs? A few things that you can also ask yourself to help you reflect on this and help you understand this a little bit better. Ask yourself, how is this gonna make me feel? So if I lose this weight in the next 12 months, how am I gonna feel? Try to picture that Daniela from 2025, August 2025. How is she gonna feel if she achieves that goal? How is she gonna, what is she gonna experience when she achieves those goals? That's something, those emotions that you can start feeling, and that's something that can help you be excited. Second thing, how is this gonna impact my life? So if I lose those 20 kgs in the next 12 months, how is that gonna change my life? Maybe you're going to tell yourself, I want to have more confidence. I'm finally going to be able to be in a relationship and feel confident being with someone. Maybe you are going to be a little bit more outgoing. Maybe you're going to be more social. Maybe something you haven't done in a while. Maybe this is going to impact your relationships, with your friends, with your partner, at work. It's going to impact every single aspect of your life. So think about those things. How is this going to change that? And that's going to be the things that's going to keep you motivated. If we don't think about those little things that maybe right now feels like whatever, if it happens, happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You're not really visualizing that. You're not really thinking about all the benefits that you're going to get and all the things that you're going to feel once you achieve that specific goal that you want, which is losing those 20 kgs. And of course, that's just an example. Next tip, now that we know the goals that we want to achieve, and now that we're very clear and that we know how this is going to impact our life, the next step is to create a routine. Remember, routine is everything. If we don't have routine, if we don't have a structure, things get messy. It's much easier to go off track. And that's why I always say on the weekends, have that routine, have that structure so you can stay on track. I want you to schedule things, and this makes a big difference on your day-to-day life. I personally schedule everything. I didn't used to do this, like at all, nothing. I used to just randomly, do I feel like going to the gym? Maybe yes, maybe not. But when we do that and we don't have that schedule, it's much easier to not go to the gym or convince yourself that you're gonna get it done tomorrow, and then we know that tomorrow never happens. And it's gonna be another day of you not doing that thing. Nothing's gonna happen. So I want you to get a calendar. What I personally use and what works for me is using Google Calendars. It's just easy. I can have it on my laptop. I can have it on my phone. I can schedule everything from, the first thing I do in the morning, which is going to the gym, the next thing, getting changed, having breakfast. Like the more you break it down, the easier it's gonna be for you to complete those tasks. Once you have that and you have a schedule, everything, I like to put colors just because I'm a very visual person. So if I see the color, I know exactly what task I have to get done. Make sure that you also set aside some time to rest. Okay, it doesn't have to be just boom, 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 go, 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 and everything. Like set aside some time to rest, and of course, stick with that. There's no point having a calendar and scheduling everything if you're not going to be sticking to that. It takes a little bit of time, but once you get into it and once you have that momentum, it will get easier. I want you to schedule your workouts there as well. I want you to schedule the times that you're going to be prepping your meals. I want you to schedule, if you're someone who doesn't have time to eat, the times that you're going to be eating. If you forget to drink your water, put reminders there so you remember to drink your water and you're doing, the basics to help you reach that goal. And make it a recurring event. As I mentioned earlier, I am a very routine person. I do the same thing pretty much every single day, every single week. And all my things on my calendar are the same every single week. Obviously, there's going to be times that we have to change things because life's always happening, and that's fine. Being flexible is completely fine. But as long as you have something to follow, it just gives you more structure. And that's how we can build that routine. Next one, and also something I feel like we don't do enough, and I'm also very, very guilty of this, but I'm trying my best to do this a little bit more late now. It's to celebrate your wins. Big or small, I want you to start celebrating your wins a little bit more. Acknowledge the progress that you are making. If we don't acknowledge this is not going to give us that confidence that we need, that confidence boost that we need. And then we're just going to feel like we're not making progress. We're going to be fixated on just, let's say, how our body looks, and we're not going to really celebrate or see the other achievements that we're making. Maybe now you're being consistent with your workouts 3 times a week, something that you haven't done in years. That's a big win, celebrated. Maybe now you're being consistent with drinking your water, another huge win, which is going to help you with your journey, celebrated. Maybe now you don't drink as much alcohol as before. Another amazing win, celebrate it. We have to get better. And I say we because, again, I include myself. I don't do this enough. But we have to get better at celebrating our wins. If we don't acknowledge this, if we're not aware of this, we're just going to feel like we're stuck, when in reality, we're making so many changes. Little changes, and especially little changes to your habits, maybe creating new habits or undoing old habits and replacing them with new ones that are going to help you with that long-term success. And last but not least, I want you to visualize your success. This, you have no idea how much this can help you. Close your eyes and literally picture yourself achieving that goal. Picture yourself feeling that way. And I say picture because you're going to actually feel the emotion. Like if you close your eyes, like right now, close your eyes. How does the future self, your future self, is going to look in the next 12 months? How is Daniela going to look in August 2025? How is she going to feel? What things is she going to be doing? How is she going to dress? How is she going to talk? How is she going to present herself? Where is she going to be traveling? All the things, all the goals that you want to achieve. Have that very, very clear. I'm a big believer that visualization helps so much, because it helps you to get excited about the journey. It helps you to feel happy. And that's another thing that will help you stay motivated, especially those days, that or weeks or months that we feel that motivation is down there. I like to do this personally every morning after I write down my goals. I like to close my eyes, repeat those goals to myself, and just picture myself doing the things that I want to achieve. And it's a beautiful feeling. If you haven't done it yet, I suggest you do. Trust me, you're going to feel something. You're going to get goosebumps, and it's going to be just an amazing feeling. So let me just quickly recap the 5 tips to help you be more motivated and to help you ensure that you have a good balance between that intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. I get confused with the terms, but number 1, I want you to set clear goals of what you want. Okay, we're going to be very clear, and we're also going to be very realistic with the goals that we are setting for ourselves. Number 2, I want you to know your why. I want you to know how this is going to impact your life. How is it going to impact every single aspect of your life? This is the thing that's going to help you with that intrinsic motivation. And that's the thing that we want to build, because that's what's going to give you that long-term success that we want. Next thing is to create a routine. Structure and routine, it's everything. So we need to have that if we have goals to achieve. Number 4, and this is something we're going to do together, is to celebrate your wins and acknowledge every single win that you are making. Whether it's a big one or a very, very tiny one, let's celebrate it. Let's make ourselves proud, and let's remind ourselves of the amazing progress that we're making. And last but not least, I want you to visualize your success. I want you to feel it, I want you to believe it, and I want you to get those goosebumps and just get excited about this journey. This is how you can slowly build that motivation a little bit stronger and slowly take more steps forward to help you with your goal. But as always, don't forget that this journey is always going to be up and down. Don't forget that unexpected things are going to happen, and that's part of the journey. Setbacks and challenges are part of the journey and are the things that make us stronger. The main thing is always for us to get back up and just to keep trying, and to never give up. And that's something I want to remind you guys about every single episode. You can do it. We can do it 100%. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it on your social media and tag me at Daniela del Carpio. Until next time, and as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao, ciao.